How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Llegaron los nuevos McCrispy Strips, listos para aventurarse en la mezcla de mayo ketchup, la barbecue que quedó en el fondo de la cajita, Hot Fudge Sundae y en la nueva Creamy Chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Los nuevos McCrispy Strips, ahora en McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
He sends you a text and he gives you two options, one for $2,000 and one for $3,000.
Right.
The one for $3,000 has shoot production, collaborations, I don't even know what that means, media planning, brand strategy, production, opening events, mixtape release event, endorsements, product launches, performance placement, full press tour, online press, world peace, thin thighs for everyone, just promises everything.
This is the plaintiff, Dwayne. He says he's an entertainer and recording artist, and he hired the defendant because he claimed he owned a public relations firm. The guy promised him exposure. He promised to style him and also get him magazine shoots. Turns out that guy's a scammer who took his money, did nothing for him, and he doesn't even have a company. He's suing for $3,000, the amount he paid him. This is the defendant, Jaquan. He says he worked very hard trying to get the plaintiff's name out there online and in magazine articles and blogs. He put a lot of hours into the plaintiff's career, but the plaintiff was too impatient. It takes time, after all, to build up a brand, and the plaintiff just doesn't get it. Bottom line, he worked hard for his money and deserves to keep it. He's accused of doing nothing and getting paid for it.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
How's he?
Seriously, even I knew that.
Wow.
Dwayne, you are suing, neither of you want your last names used nor your businesses used. Dwayne, you are suing Jaquan's PR company for $3,000 because according to you, he took your $3,000 and provided nothing in return. Tell me what occurred.
Well, I met Jaquan 4 years ago through another friend that does music. So that's how we got acquainted. But just as of last year, November, we got back in contact. I was about to drop a project, like a free album kind of thing. And
you
I wanted to...
What is it you do?
Like sing, melodize, I'm basically like a recording artist.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get the most out of my project, so I knew in order to do that, I needed like a connection to get me like magazine features, blog sites and stuff. So, I seen him on my Facebook, got back in contact with him. He said, oh yeah, I do styling, but I also do PR work. So
when you met him years ago, was he a stylist?
He was a stylist.
Okay.
So he said, all right, let's draw up a contract. I have some people, I have a team I work with, and we'll get, I'll blow you up. Don't worry about it. Basically we came up with a contract.
What kinds of things did he tell you about his connections that would lead you to think that he would be a good PR person?
He basically pulled me in, like throwing out big names like, oh, do you know August Alsina? Yeah, I have a photo shoot with him next week. Oh, Keke Palmer. Yeah, I just did a photo shoot with her. I have everything in writing.
Right.
And then I asked him before we even did the contract, I said, so you sure that you and your team could do this? Like, is this something that's guaranteed? He said, yes, it's 100% guaranteed. All in writing.
Okay. Then you sign a contract with him. Do you have the contract?
Yes.
All right. And according to the contract, let me see your original of the contract. Okay, he sends you a text and he gives you two options, one for $2,000 and one for $3,000.
Right.
The one for $3,000 has shoot production, collaborations, I don't even know what that means, media planning, brand strategy, production, opening events, mixtape release event, endorsements, product launches, performance placement, full press tour, online press, world peace, thin thighs for everyone, just promises everything.
Right.
All right. And then what happens?
Throughout the whole period,
Actually, before this, I want to go over something. There's a series of texts between the two of you, and besides telling you the names that he's working with to impress you, he also says something about a People magazine article. What was that?
Yeah, that's even before. That's how he even got me into the contract, because he said, "Oh yeah, I have something coming up with People's Magazine with Keke Palmer." He said I could probably get you into the shoot.
Okay, there's an actual text, and this is on November 8th, so this is right before you sign, where he says, "Great meeting with you, brother. Got some good news. God's great. I convinced her about having you in the magazine, being interviewed. I sold you. Great." She said yes. She will have Jessica from People Magazine interview you along with Keke Palmer.
Right. So that was the first pull-in. That never happened.
Why would you even believe that was going to happen? No offense. I mean, who are you that you would get interviewed along with Keke Palmer? Are you nuts? Why would Keke Palmer want you interviewed along with Keke Palmer? I mean, what did you think he meant by that? Because that's like a blatant.
Honestly, it was kind of skeptical to me, because I'm like, why would they match me up with Keke Palmer as being an upcoming, not known face? But I just said, you never know who people know. Like, sometimes the people behind the scenes, you never know.
Amen. Most deaf. I'm glad. I'll be working with you on this project. Blah, blah, blah. Give me the whole package. Yada, yada. Work perfectly. All right. So then what did happen between December 14th and March 14th?
Absolutely nothing. Just a whole bunch of, I got this interview for you. I got this photo shoot for you.
Okay, so wait. I got this interview for you, and what would that interview be?
It was always a different magazine.
And did you go to the interview?
I didn't, no.
Why not?
A day before or 2 days before, it was always, they pushed it back. Or the worst thing was, he always said, "Oh yeah, I got to get the questions for you. They're going to email me over the questions." Never got the questions. I kept asking, "So how are you going to give me the questions a day before?" That's when he'd tell me, it got rescheduled, it got pushed back. So it was just, from December 14th until March was just all rescheduling.
Did anything happen? Anything?
One photo shoot happened. It was kind of like a shoddy photo shoot. He never even told the guy that I had a deadline. So the guy never even edited the pictures. And I also have that in my phone.
What involvement did he have in that photo shoot?
Styling and, I guess, lining up the shoot.
Okay. Jaquan.
Yes.
What's going on?
Well, I met him through someone. And basically, I do wardrobe styling. I spoke to him beforehand about everything that was going to be drawn out.
When did you become a PR person?
Well, I've worked with this company and about maybe 2 years ago.
You work with what company? The one that's on the contract?
Right.
What is their obligation to him?
Well, I told him what I was going to do for him. We spoke prior to the contract, and I stated to him that I'm going to, let's map out a plan. My only thing was, you're not going to be famous overnight. Now, I do. He
didn't want to be famous. He wanted you to do something for $3,000.
Yes.
I mean, his needs were a little more basic.
Right,
so what did you do?
Well, I said, let's map out things. The things that were drawn out on the contract. I feel like, as an artist, you are supposed to go through these things. Branding is first. I mean, we're trying to figure out exactly who you are. My only thing was, he didn't want to necessarily go through the process of branding, shoots, like different things.
What didn't he do?
I mean, well, he didn't show up to certain things that were scheduled.
I need specifics.
The first thing was we were supposed to do. I did have a shoot with Keke Palmer set up, and I did speak to them.
What does you have a shoot with Keke Palmer mean?
I was doing.
You were doing the styling.
Right. And then I was speaking to, because I know people over there. I was speaking to them in regards about, I have an artist. I'm branding him right now. It'd be a great opportunity for him to get in the, shoot, even like a little interview or feature or something like that.
In what shoot? In Keke Palmer's shoot? Do you really think Keke Palmer, no offense, but Keke Palmer, like anybody else who has their own thing going, has, that's not about bringing somebody else in for free press. Why would you tell him that other than to take his money?
Well,
because that's ridiculous.
To take his money, that wasn't it at all.
No?
It was, no, not at all.
Because I can't help but notice that 4 days later, he couldn't wait to sign up for the major deal with you, for the highest price thing. And when you say, okay, but he didn't want to go through the steps, branding comes first. I don't know what that means, because you promised 10 things for $3,000. What did you do in 3 months of any of it?
Well,
what did you do?
Branding was first.
Okay, well, but branding was first. What does branding mean to you?
Branding is developing you who you are.
That's right. So what did you do to develop him? What did you do to assist that?
I sat down with him. We spoke. We had numerous meetings. We spoke about, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Shoots were planned.
What did you actually do? Not what kind of lip service you gave. What did you do?
There are press-related articles.
You said he didn't show up for something. Let's start with that. What didn't he show up for?
A meeting.
A meeting with who?
With me and a few other people from my company.
That I never met throughout the whole 4 months.
Wait, but a meeting about, so if you didn't have that meeting that day, then you had it another day. I mean, you said we met a bunch of times. So that's not, I thought you meant, hey, I set up an interview with such and such magazine and he never showed up for the interview.
Right.
Did you set up any interviews?
And questions also were sent to his email.
No. Tell me what interviews you set up for him.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, artist hires a publicist. I will blow you up, and it doesn't happen. Does the recording artist get his money back?
No.
Why?
Because the publicist goes out and does the work, gets them booked at like clubs and does flyers.
Okay, but he said, I'll blow you up, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, but if you're band or whatever, if you're not the bomb and people don't want to show up for your concert, it's not the publicist's fault.
What do you think?
I agree.
Really?
You can't guarantee something like that because you never know what the public's going to want.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Well, we had a Vibe magazine shoot was first.
Okay, did that happen?
Well, no, it didn't happen because it was rescheduled, and then
No problem. Now I need you to show me proof that you had a Vibe magazine interview. Show me an email from somebody at Vibe.
I'll show you the email. I don't have it on me now, but I can show you.
No. Now is when the trial is. Let me introduce you to me. I'm the person wearing the black dress up on this little table, and today's the trial.
Right.
You see, here's the thing. You work in an industry. You're a stylist. You're not a PR person, but you have set yourself out and represented yourself as a PR person, and you're saying, I can do all these things. And I've read the text. You say 100% guaranteed, which you should never say in that business. But that side is often unreasonable in their expectations. That side may think that if they paid this side $3,000, they should be a star overnight. I agree with you. That side is often unreasonable. But that side also has a right to get something for their money.
Right.
So show me any email, show me a single stitch of correspondence or anything from any media that you set him up with.
Well, I don't have anything on me right now due to an issue
What do you need? You need a recess so you can get it?
Something like, yes.
Yeah, how are you going to get it? What's your plan?
Well, I mean, I have to go to my phone.
Get your phone out right now.
Okay.
You didn't think I might ask you that? What you do?
No, I knew that you was going to ask me that.
Yeah, right. So you don't think that maybe you should have that ready, that I was going to ask you what you do in 3 months?
And Your Honor, these same things that you're asking for is what I asked them for also. Just, once we was getting to that point where I said everything is just a lie, I just said, all right, you said you're reaching out to all of these people. Just at least show me an email where they responded to you, where you even emailed them at. And he told me the same thing. I don't have it on me right now.
No, I actually sent you the email.
You sent him an email?
Yes, I did, and the email stated.
Good, then you'll be able to get it right now. Did he send you an email?
No.
Okay.
I don't have it on me.
He sent some up for you.
Yes, I can't even find it.
I'm
It's too
sorry.
much. I'm trying to
The judge is asking you for a scintilla of proof, anything, any little thing to show, anything, to show me what work you did in 3 months, and you can't come up with anything? Not one shred of evidence of a single effort on your part to do anything besides bank his $3,000? Jaquan, let's stop wasting each other's time.
No, I'm trying to find. It's just loading slow.
Do you have a receipt for what you paid the photographer, or was the photographer a friend?
I have a receipt, but I don't have it on me.
If you were out money, I would allow you to keep that much. But based on what I'm hearing and what I'm not seeing, you are no PR person. You have no right to keep the guy's money. $3,000 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails. He gets his money back. Jaquan, the defendant's just come out. This is not a good day for you in court, Jaquan. You realize that, I hope.
I'm certain. No, I'm joking.
You understand? Yes. I mean, if I were you, I'd lay low for a while after this experience before the judge.
Not necessarily.
Why not?
I do have connections. I mean, it is what it is. He didn't really Bible what he's supposed to. So
You didn't either.
I mean, I did.
You didn't do anything. Nothing. You couldn't prove it to the judge.
Right.
I'm sorry about that, but you lose big time. All right, you have to sign some documents. Now the plaintiff, Dwayne, is on his way out of the courtroom. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Feel better?
Yes, I feel a lot better.
I'll bet you do.
Yeah.
You look happy. I heard you mention at first, I think, you like to melodize? I love that term. What does that mean?
It's like a melodic kind of rapping kind of thing. You know, it's just sounds good to the ear, real sweet to the ear.
All right, good. It's a good term to use.
Right.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, Officer McIntosh has some documents you must sign. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, the publicist in this case could have won this case if we could have shown that he did something. He doesn't have to make the guy a star, but in this case, he did nothing. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the plaintiff, Hedwig Weaver. She says she's known the defendant since he was in elementary school, and she hired him to do some flooring in her house. Turns out, neither the defendant nor his helper knew what they were doing. They damaged her furniture on the floors full of gaps and holes. Now his work has to be completely ripped out and redone, and she's suing her one-time friend for the $1,833.63 it's gonna cost her. This is the defendant, James Wilson. He says he's a union carpenter who knows what he's doing, thank you very much. He installed the wood flooring for the plaintiff, but she decided she didn't like the way it looked. Not his fault she had a change of heart about the floor she chose. He's just the installer after all, and he put the floor in correctly. As far as the dresser goes, it was a cheap piece of furniture. That's why the legs broke off. He's accused of flooring a customer.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant to put flooring down, and he messed up something fierce. But the defendant says he's a union carpenter and a good one at that. She's just impossible to please. It's the case of I'm going to floor you.
Thank you, Douglas. Hedwig Weaver?
Yes.
You are suing James Wilson, the person who put your flooring down, for $1,833.63 in damages that you say you incurred as a result of his faulty workmanship. Tell me what happened.
Well, I hired James to come to my house and remove a rug and put some laminate flooring in. So I went and I purchased the material.
What were you having the whole place done? What were you having?
No, just the bedroom.
Okay.
My bedroom.
Okay.
So he and Travis came over, and first when he came over and he looked at the rug, he says, "Oh, good, I could use this for my airplane." I said, "Okay, I don't care what you do with the rug." So when they took the rug up, they rolled it up. In the meantime, They didn't put the sliders under the legs, and they broke two of the legs off of the dresser. So
can I see a picture of the damaged dresser?
These are the feet, and it has a bracket that fits over here, and with a screw that goes into the dresser.
Okay.
Those are lying in front of it because they were already broken off when I took the pictures.
And apparently it's going to cost $45.75 to have that repaired. Okay. So
no, to buy new ones.
To buy new ones. Okay. So, so what happens with the actual job?
Well, as soon as he started installing it, I saw a lot of spaces in the flooring. And I said to him, I says, "James, I don't like this, I don't like this." And he says, at the end, he says, "We'll be able to tap everything together and you're not going to be able to see the seams."
Well, unless you have a very giant tapper, I don't know how you're going to. I mean, to just hit the side of the room, I don't know how all of a sudden everything's going to get together.
Just to go back a little bit, like the first thing that he should have done was taken off the baseboard.
He didn't take off the baseboards?
He didn't take off the baseboard.
Did he mention that to you?
No, I said that to him. I says, why didn't you take the baseboard off? I said, you can't put that wood against the baseboard. And he says to me, don't tell me what my job is. I know what my job is. And I says, look, I said, that's not the
He didn't take any of the baseboard?
None.
Okay, do you have pictures of how it looked? Okay, go ahead.
So then when I came home, James was not there. But Travis was there sanding the...
Travis the pirate? Was this a style choice or...
Everyday thing.
Everyday thing? Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, good for you. What? Since when?
Since I was real young.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I had a lot of boats, spent a lot of time in the sea.
Okay, then. All right. I'm particularly concerned about, what did you end up doing? You see these gaps between one end and the baseboards.
Right. And the reason that I'm seeing
There's separation between two of the laminate pieces or in more than one spot. Did you talk to him about this gap?
Yes.
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm Harry. I'm a good friend.
He's my witness.
Of hers who I'm a tradesperson myself.
Okay, what's your tradesperson?
I'm a maintenance supervisor.
Okay, all right. So you point out what the heck's this, and what does he say?
He said that, well, there's different ways of doing things. And
Wait, this way has a big 1-inch gap between the molding and the floor. How is this ever a way of doing
shoe molding? But
Say it again.
Shoe molding.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Shoe molding is what I took off, and that's what I was going to reuse is the shoe molding.
Is that like a quarter? Stop.
It's like a quarter round.
Quarter
very
round?
similar, yes.
Okay, so
Correct.
all you removed was a quarter round and not the actual molding.
Absolutely.
Why didn't you just remove the molding? What's the big deal?
Well, I explained to her in detail when I first got there. Because if I would have taken that off, the way it was caulked in, it would have gotten destroyed. Plus, there was shoe molding there. You take the shoe off because it matches exactly the stain that's there.
So what you're telling me is that this picture is with the shoe molding not put back in?
Correct.
All right, did you ever put the shoe molding back in?
I believe so, yeah.
We went back to do it, and she had kicked us off the job, told us to pack up our tools and leave. So, I mean, if the job's not done and you tell us to leave.
Okay, what about this gap here between that's not tapped right.
That gap, they're simple to fix. Before you put the shoe on, you tap it back. Here's the thing, she didn't order blind seam flooring, and that's what the difference is. This wasn't blind seam flooring.
Did you redo the floors?
I did.
Yes, he did.
You ripped everything out, threw it away, and did it over?
Ripped up everything that he put down, redid the whole new floor, put all new cove base, quarter round in a day, less than a day.
Did you rip out the molding?
I took the molding out, yes.
And then did you put the molding back in?
No, I put all brand new molding in.
And were you paid for that?
No.
You just did it as a favor?
We're a long-time family friends.
Why didn't you go to him first? Why?
He has 2 jobs already.
Oh.
he has a full-time job. He works for the...
Do you have a picture of the finished job that you did?
I do, but it's on my camera. It's on my telephone.
That's fine.
And I take terrible pictures.
Okay.
I don't have a smartphone.
Okay. Did she... What did she say to you on that Sunday when you went back there and she was complaining?
When I left Saturday evening, thank you so much. It looks terrific. I'll see you guys tomorrow. When I went there the next day, somebody else answered the door. Just a complete 180. I hate everything you did. Tear it apart. It's all wrong.
What was she saying was wrong?
The fact that she could see the seams. She was insistent that because she could see the seams, it was installed improperly.
She swears the salesman at the store sold her seamless flooring, and the flooring that we put down had the gaps in between each plank, but they're 1/8-inch seam
flooring.
Trying to explain the whole time this is a characteristic of the product.
Like
they make blind seam flooring where you can't see the seams. That's what she would rather have, and that's the reason it was torn out and thrown away.
That's what I want to see. That's why I want to see if there is a picture of the new floor. That doesn't look very blind seam either. Take a look at that. Would you say that that's blind seam flooring? Because it's the same color. I wanted to see if there was a color difference. I wanted to see if there was a seam difference, but there's really not. And make sure that this is not just a customer who changed their mind.
Yeah, that is a lousy picture, but you can see.
It's not that lousy. The seams are kind of the same size. It's still 1/8 inch. How
Well,
are the seams
the
different
seams
that you
this
did
way.
than what she did?
I would just run it tighter to the wall and made sure that everything was seated properly. The way he did everything, it didn't appear to me that everything was seated properly.
What do you mean by that?
Well, as you see, the more obvious ones where you could see the spaces where he said he was going to use the banger and close the seams, but...
Right. He would put that quarter round that's in this picture. You can see that part of the baseboard's over here, and that would be covering. And why is that a problem? I mean, it's not the optimum way. I would prefer somebody to take out
There's crack sections. Some of them were overly exposed, where the quarter round was going to be exposed. But he's not also mentioning that.
Well, did you take a picture that would show me that the quarter round would be on it and it still would be open? No, right?
And just the pictures that
No, because this picture doesn't show that. The quarter round is 3 feet from it. If the quarter round was there, if you're suggesting to me it would not have covered it, and there's this gap, that would be bad.
It's 20 years old.
What is the reason that the entire floor had to be ripped out and do it over?
Well, short of because you don't have any more of that other material to try. You
could buy more of the other material.
You still have to pull most of the floor back up to get to the pieces that are in the center.
Is there anything about the way they laid it down that made the seams wider?
Good idea or a bad idea to hire a friend?
Good idea.
A good idea?
Mm-hmm.
How come?
Because if they can do the work that you hired them for, then...
That's true, but...
Definitely a bad idea. There's too much underlying, too much past. I just don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm with you. Going inside the courtroom.
Because these things are tongue and groove, aren't they?
It's all tongue and groove.
Exactly. So there's only one way to lay it down, right? They fit into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this stuff about how, I don't like how the whole floor looks, the seams on this floor are too big. They're right about that's the flooring she bought first, right? Okay.
Well, he recommended a store to go to, exactly what to buy, and that's what she bought.
Did you tell her which floor to buy, or did she
Absolutely
pick up
not.
the floor?
I said go there and speak to the salesman.
He did not. He told me to go out and pick up a floor. I also want to disagree with what he said about we talked about the molding in detail, because we never even talked about it. About the new molding.
Okay, but here's the problem. Look, if it were my floor, because I've had this done, I would take out the whole molding. Okay, and there are reasons why people might not want to take out that molding. Maybe it matches the other molding in your home. Maybe it matches your door jambs. And you start ripping out molding, then it just never ends, right?
But
You just have to. I'm talking. So I would really like to see evidence that somehow that quarter molding didn't cover the whole thing, because I'm not seeing that in this picture. I'm seeing the opposite of that in the picture. I'm seeing a quarter round that would cover that. And I really think that the problem is that she thought this would be a seamless flooring, and it isn't. And I personally don't see that big a difference between the floor that you put in terms of the seams. Was that not an eighth seam?
It's not.
What is it?
It's just
a 16th or nothing, or seamless?
It's seamless, but it has a tone. It has a tone on the edge.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but based on what I'm listening to, I'm going to order them to return a portion of your money. It's not going to be anywhere near what you want. It's just going to be for the furniture legs and for installing the quarter round, which they didn't have to do because they didn't stay there. And I'm going to order them to return Mr. Wilson, to return $100. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails, but only gets $100 back, not $1,800. How do you feel about what the judge decided?
Yeah, that was fair. That was fair.
You think you're okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. The judge got a real kick out of your outfit.
Should have seen the rest of it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Terry and the Pirates here. All right. Here comes the plaintiff, Miss Hedwig Wilson. I must tell you something. I think you're the first Hedwig we've had here.
Well,
it's not a very common name.
I was born in Germany.
Well, sounds a little like something out of Harry Potter,
Okay.
Look, you only got $100 back. How do you feel?
Well, I guess I don't feel so good about it, because I did have to put a new floor in, because the one that they put in was unsalvageable.
All right. But anyway, you've got the floor now. You happy with it the way it is?
Yes, I'm happy.
That's what really counts.
But I have a good friend to do it.
Good for you. All right. As the judge said, should have seen him first.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Officer McIntosh has some documents for you to sign. And now, Harvey, it's your turn.
Doug, I got to say, it is so important to lock down the scope of the job. Molding, everything you can possibly lock down in writing, do it. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things, no unwritten rules, and no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free 1-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
These are the plaintiffs, Angelina and Stephen Jacobs. Angelina says she and her husband entered into a lease agreement to rent an apartment in a house the defendant owned. And the woman failed to inform them of some disturbing news. Seems a registered pedophile lives next door. And considering she has 2 small children, that was unacceptable. They decided they didn't want to live there. The defendant didn't seem to care about their concerns, and they are now suing her for the return of their $4,500. This is the defendant, Jasmine Rios. She says the plaintiff should have checked to see if a sex offender lived on the same street as her house, because there are sex offenders everywhere. She's sorry, but she doesn't feel she owes the plaintiffs a thing, because it's a let the buyer beware society we live in, and they should have done some fact-checking. She's accused of rubbing tenants the wrong way.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs were going to rent an apartment from the defendant, but learned a pedophile lived next door. She has 2 kids, so she wants her money back. But the defendant says it's the plaintiff's job to check if sex offenders live there. It's the case of silence is not golden.
Thank you, Douglas. Angelina Jacobs and Stephen Jacobs. Yes. You are suing Jasmine Rios for $4,500. Double your rent and double security that you paid to her that she refuses to return. You did not end up moving in. Tell me what happened.
Well, we were searching for an apartment for ourselves and our children to move into, and we came across an apartment that was interesting. And when I, went down, I seen the listing agent was a friend of mine. So I contacted him and I let him know that I was interested in this apartment. So he was telling me that he'll let me view it. So I did view the apartment and I informed him that we were interested. So he told me he'd like me to meet Miss Rios at first because she had, a rocky past with tenants, and because she'd be actually living on the premises as well on the first floor unit. So it was, unclear to me. And the only thing that we had that was needed to be said to her was that we had dogs. So on January 29th, that's when we went ahead and met with Miss Rios, and we were told to bring in cash the amount for our deposit, which was $22.50. As well, she asked us to bring our dogs.
And the $22.50 represented what?
The rent was $11.25 and $25 extra for our dog, so which was $11.50.
Okay. So it would be first month and security?
Yes.
Okay.
So
And she wanted you to bring your dog?
Yes.
Okay.
One of them, because we weren't allowed to bring both of them. So we had to choose a dog, and we actually sold our dog, and that still bothers me now because that was it's our dog.
Why don't you just find a different apartment?
It was it was it's the 29th. We were down to the wire. Our other lease was up. We wanted to move. So it was definitely a rock and a hard place type of situation. So like I said, we did meet with her on the 29th. She as well has 2 dogs that we were meeting, and I actually brought a picture of her dog. She wanted our dogs to meet as well as our children. She wanted to see the size of our dog. So we did do that. As soon as we brought our dog in, we have a poodle, which was basically the same exact size as her Shih Tzu that she has. And her other dog, which I don't know the breed of it, but it has one eye, literally scary thing to look at, came out of nowhere barking like crazy, trying to eat my dog. I had my 3 children with me, ages 10, 7, and 3, got so scared. They just jumped up and started crying. It was like mayhem in the kitchen.
So you couldn't wait to give her the deposit? I mean, that sounds like a horrible situation. Why would you give her the deposit?
I just kept reiterating, why are we doing this? Why do the dogs have to meet? That was basically strike one, as far as this might not work. But I was trying to find the good out of it and say, for the best interest of our family, we're trying to move forward. Then it came down to keys. She gave us 5 keys. Mind you, there's only 2 doors.
Did you sign a lease?
Yes, we ended up signing the lease.
May I see a copy of the lease?
I actually provided it, but I don't have the copy.
Do you
with
have a
me.
copy of the lease, Ms. Rios?
Yes.
May I have it?
So
Okay, go on.
We went ahead and we were reading. She was going over like, okay, no smoking, the not having the dogs, the 25 monthly fee to
Okay, I
have
got
the
it.
dogs,
And
all
then
that
so
stuff.
what happens? You
So
don't
then what
move in,
happened
why?
was we say that again.
You signed the lease.
We signed the lease, and she gave us the 5 keys, and we went home. It was probably around 9 o'clock at night. We've been start talking about it. I'm like, with this and then this, and we're like talking about all the other extra stipulations. Then we did a search, and we did see that there was a pedophile that lived next door. And
Wait, stop. A pedophile lived next door.
yes, registered sex offender.
How did you find that out?
Google search for sex offender registry, which I usually do conduct, and I conducted
Why didn't you conduct
that.
it before you signed the lease?
I really,
you have
to
a
be
phone.
honest,
You have a smartphone?
yes.
Okay.
To be honest, I did feel I was in the hands of a friend who was the realtor, and also I did feel that I was pressured because of the simple fact that they kept saying, "Oh, make sure you bring cash, and you have to meet her," and this and they're charging.
Okay, was he
throwing
with you?
things. Yes, he was.
Who's he?
My husband.
Do you talk?
Yes.
Smart man. He's just let her do her thing, So you folks decide what?
Well, at the time, after signing the lease, we went home and kind of, she couldn't sleep about it. She kept bothering me about it. Not saying it in a bad way, but she opened my eyes to basically what was going on in her head, and stuff started to add up. So I said, it's less than 24 hours. Maybe.
How did it occur to you guys to check out the database for sex offenders?
I usually do. I always do.
Every time you look at an apartment, you do?
Yes. I actually, where we lived before this, we lived there for 6 years. There was no case of that. So
the thing that I question and marinate this a little in your head while I give the floor to her is I have to make sure that is really the reason, and not that we're looking at all these restrictions and starting to get the heebie-jeebies about the one-eyed dog and whatever else or I found a better place or all that. Ms. Rios, when she calls you, when does she call you?
She called me the following day, I believe.
It was the following day. And what does she say?
She said, we changed our mind and we don't want the apartment, and if you're home, I'll go right now to pick up.
Did she say why?
Yes, and actually the story that she just said is not the story that she told me.
Okay.
She told me it was because a sex offender that she personally knows lives down the street, not next door, and it was somebody that personally offended her as a little girl, and that's why he's on the sex offenders list.
So whose job is it, the landlord to tell or the tenant to check?
The tenant to check.
Really? What do you think?
I agree, the tenant to check.
One more.
I think so too. Yeah, if they really care about it, they should probably check it.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
I told her, I understand that I, do feel bad, but she should have checked that before she decided to sign the lease.
Did you know anything that she was saying?
No.
This was news to you?
Yeah.
Do you have the printout from the computer?
it's a screenshot.
Oh yeah, the screenshot. So
actually,
let me,
hold on.
just hand me the screenshot. So you say to her, you know, if you're going to do research, do it before you sign a contract.
Yes.
Now, did you re-rent it?
Yes.
When did you re-rent it?
April 1st.
No.
So
Well,
it was
April 4th.
empty for February and for March?
Yes.
Did you ever do one of those checks? Because you live there. Do you live there with children?
No, I don't have any children, but I've been living there since 2010. I bought the house, and no, it never crossed my mind.
Did you have that screenshot, you said? The screenshot of the actual
No,
sex
I don't have that
wait,
one.
You don't have the very thing that is the reason why you're trying to get out of a lease?
Actually, that, like I said, I don't want everything to hang in the balance about the pedophile. It's everything. It's not just the pedophile, but that was definitely a big piece of evidence that I should have had, but I don't have that paper on me right now. I'm sorry. And that sucks for me.
Oh, it does. That's what we call, that's a legal term of art, sucks for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you're just another person in the exact, well, actually, let me just say a couple things. First of all, you signed a contract, and when you sign a contract, it means something. There's no 24-hour grace period on signing a lease. I don't know where you got that from. You then go home, and I'm having a little bit of trouble with the concept that you always check the sex offender, because if that was true, you would have been doing that from your phone while you were there, and you wouldn't have given her the money. So let's say. I'm also having trouble because when I've just asked you for it, you're not even able to show me. I thought you said you had a screenshot of it so I could actually see what you're saying. I'm a mother.
Yes.
I understand that. But her defense, it sounds callous and she seems kind of cold when she says, well, I guess you should have looked into that sooner. She's absolutely 100% legally correct, because this is public record that you can do just putting in a few clicks. So I hate to do this. You're a lovely couple with 3 kids, and I feel bad for you, but you guys tied my hands when you signed the contract and then changed your mind. Where did you end up?
We stayed where we live.
Oh.
We stayed. We had to do so much to stay there, though. We had to, reinstate and borrow money when we sold our dog. That was
You can get your dog back?
No, we could
Oh,
not.
what a shame.
I really don't. That
I know.
bothers me.
I know, and I feel bad for you, but you are just as bound by a contract that you sign as anybody else is by a contract that sign. And again, if you had any evidence that she had rented it out in February, but you can't sign a contract saying I'm taking it, and then she's out 2 months of rent. You can't. Because you're the one who's legally obligated on it. You don't have to pay April through the rest of your lease because she got somebody else there and she wanted to get double rent.
Well, I did look into it, and they said that it has to be listed, it has to be shown, and that if they found someone that...
I agree with you that if someone says, it took me 6 months to re-rent it, I'd say, oh, well, you weren't trying very hard. But she's got a realtor. She paid a realtor, and the realtor's the one talking to you, right?
Yeah, but he's not too shabby.
Not a good realtor.
No,
okay.
no,
sorry, honey.
He's
You're
a
out of
friend.
gas. There's
He's a
nothing
friend
I
of
can
both
do
of
for you.
ours.
My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So the defendant prevails in this case. Mr. and Mrs. Jacobs are on their way out of the courtroom. Boy, the lack of evidence killed you here. If you had that screenshot, you may have won.
I know, I have it, but I had deleted so many pictures.
Oh, what a shame. And you had to sell a dog?
Yes, I missed
How could you do that?
I know.
That's terrible. A lot of people are cringing to hear that. I'm so sorry for you. This is a tough
We
lesson.
still see him, though, so we still have contact with the dog. So.
Okay, good. I
Not
hope he's
all
okay.
lost. He's
Good
all right.
enough.
Thank you.
All right, our officer's waiting for you to sign some documents now. Ms. Rios is on her way out of the courtroom. Well, congratulations. You look happy.
I am.
You are. Okay, thank you very much. That's about it. Okay, you're lucky. Harvey?
Doug, the fact is, it is the tenant's duty because all of this is public record.